In our last lesson, we practiced drawing nets for our rectangular prisms, how to unfold it and show each of the sides. So in this lesson, we're going to actually put that to use. We're going to use those nets to calculate what's called the surface area, which is basically the area of the outside of the shape. Kind of think of wrapping it in wrapping paper. Okay, so go ahead, get your notes set up. We've got our learning target here, 6G4. And then we've got our I can statement. I can use a net to calculate the surface area of a rectangular prism. So now we're going to put the net to use. We're not just going to draw it on its own. So a couple definitions to fill in up top. The surface area of a prism is the sum, sorry, I got the word sum, or the word the at both parts there. The sum, so adding the areas of all the faces of the prism together. So a rectangular prism has 6 sides. Front and back, a top and bottom, a left and a right. So all 6 sides added together gives us the surface area. To calculate surface area, simply find the area of each of the faces. In this case, they're all going to be rectangles, and then add them all together. So it's a whole bunch of tiny little area problems, and then we're going to put them all together. So here's our first one. In this case, the net's already been drawn for us. We're just going to use it to find our area. So there are a total of 6 sides that we need to worry about. We have our left and our right. We have the bottom and the top. And then we have the back and the front. Now I kind of did them in that order for a reason. I always thought of them as pairs. The left and right are matching pairs. Same size, just on opposite sides. Same thing with the bottom and the top. Same thing with the back and the front. So once you figure out one of them, it's pretty quick to figure out the rest of them. So let's start with the front, and then we'll also do the back. So take a look at the front here. Here's my base. Here's my height. Well, the length of this side here is the same as this one here. So it's 35. The height, this distance here, is the same as it is on the back, 14 yards. So I want to do 35 times 14. So I'll do some quick math over here. See, even the math teacher has to multiply things out sometimes, and that's okay. 5 and a 3, add it together, and I get 490 square yards. Now, that was for the front. Now, while I'm at it, do its matching side, the back. It's also 35 by 14, so I know it's going to be 490 square yards. Now, let's take care of the left and the right. Again, kind of think of them as pairs. Save yourself the hassle of having to do twice as much work. If you know they're the same measurement, you can just do the problem once. So our left side, it's 14 by 14. So 14 times 14. If I remember correctly, it's 196, but let's double check. 14 times 14. Give me 6, 3. So I get 176. Good thing I actually did the problem there. So I get 176 yards squared. That's for the left side. My right side is the same, 14 by 14. So the right-hand side is 14 times 14 is 176 yards squared. So I've done the front and back. I've done the left and right. Now I'm going to do the top and the bottom. So start with the top over here. Here's my rectangle. It's got a base of 35. It has a height. This measurement here is the same as this one here, is the same as this one here, which is the same as this one here. They're all 14. So this one's 35 by 14, the same as my front and back. So it's 490 yards squared. And the bottom is the same, 35 times 14 gives me 490 90 yards squared. So I simply found the area of each of the 6 different faces, but I kind of thought of them as pairs. So if I did one calculation, it kind of helped me solve 2 different problems. And then I add them all together. So I'm going to add them all up. 6 and 6 is 12, 10, 19, 25, 31, 40, 49. Carry the 4. 4 and 4 is 8, 12, 13, 14, 18, 22. So 2,292 yards squared. That's my surface area. It's the area of all of the separate faces all combined together. So let's try the next one. But this time we have to draw the net. We haven't done that yet. So we're going to have to draw the net just like we did in our last video, and then label with the measurements, and then use that to find our area. So I always like to start with the bottom. I kind of think of it like a real box. How would it unfold? So it's a rectangle that's 4 by 7. It's got a base of 4, a height of 7. Okay. Now I'm going to start to unfold things from here. So let's take the front. Okay, nice long rectangle. It's going to kind of tip out to the front here. It's got a base of 4, so it's going to match up with my 4 here, and a height of 8 going up. So it's going to tip out by 8. So I label it 4 and 8. All right, so we've got our front here that's 4 by 8. As long as we're talking about it, let's go ahead and do the back. That's this edge back here. It shares this same edge with the bottom, which is my 4. And it's going to kind of tip out to the back, so kind of falling out away from us. That distance going up is my 8, so it's going to tip out by 8. So it's 4 by 8. So that's the back. This is my front. This is my bottom. We want to make sure to label them with their names as well as we go. Okay. So we've got 3 of the 6 sides. Remember, there's a total of 6 sides in a rectangular prism. Okay. So now let's do the sides. So take the one we can see first. Let me switch colors here. So this is my left-hand side. So again, it's going to kind of tip out this way. It shares that common 7 with my bottom edge. So that's going to be this edge here. The other dimension going up is the same as this 8 over here. So it's going to tip out by 8. Notice how this edge here is 8, so is this edge here, even though I didn't draw them quite the same size. Those 2 edges kind of match up with each other. When you fold the box back together, those kind of connect on that side. So they're meant to be the same measurement. So here's my left. Then I'm going to do the same thing with my right-hand side. It's going to kind of tip out this way. Again, it's got that common edge down here. That's my 7. And it's going to tip out. That other measurement is the one going up and down. That's my 8. So that's the right-hand side. It's got a measure of 7 and 8. And then our last piece, the top. Now it's up to you which way you have the top flip out. It can flip out along with your front. It can flip to your left or to your right. I'm going to have it flip out with my left-hand side. So my left-hand side tipped out, and then this one kind of flops with it. It shares this edge with the left-hand side. That's my 7. So it's going to share this edge right here and come out this way. Its other measurement is this short edge here, which is my 4. So it's 7 by 4, and this is my top. So we want to use this to help us find our surface area. So we have our top and the bottom. We have our left and our right. We have our front and our back. We just want to find the surface area, or the area of each one of them. So our top is 4 by 7. So 4 times 7 is 28 meters squared. The bottom is the same, 4 by 7. 4 times 7 is 28. For our left-hand side, that's this one, it's 7 going this way, 8 going this way. So 7 times 8 is 56. The right is going to be the matching piece, so it's also 7 times 8 is 56. Then we have our front and our back. Here's the front. It's 4 by 8. So 4 times 8 is 32. And the back is also 4 by 8. To find our total surface area, we add it all together. So 8 and 8 is 16, plus 6 is 22, plus 6 is 28, 2 is 30, 32, carry the 3. So 3 and 2 is 5, 6, 7, 5 is 12, 5 is 17, 3 is 20, plus another 3 is 23, 232 meters squared. Because I'm finding surface area, I'm just adding together all the areas of those pieces. So now it's your turn. Your job is draw your net, unfold each of those sides, make sure to include each of your measurements, just like we have. Look at the previous night's video if you need some extra help with drawing your nets, and then go ahead and find the area of each of those separate pieces, add them all together to get your surface area. Give it a try.